Hi, and welcome back to Blue's Garden. I'm going to go in a slightly different direction for today's video. I'm going to tackle how much and what should I grow. And for how much and what should I grow, I'm going to ask myself a bunch of questions. If you're going to try and figure out what you're going to grow, you need to figure out a couple of things yourself. Number one, ask yourself, what is the goal of your garden? If the goal is just to provide some fresh vegetables for a change or to see if you can grow, that's one thing. If you say, I want to become completely self-sufficient, that's another thing. I want to cut down on my grocery bills. I want to completely eliminate all my fresh vegetables and fruit. There's a lot of different levels of what is the goal of your garden. The next part of that, or maybe a subset of that in your goal, is there's a thing called the hunger gap, and that is at some point you stop harvesting fresh vegetables. Your vegetable, your garden, your fruits, they all die or they hibernate or whatever. So you stop harvesting, and then if you don't can, the next time you get something out of your garden is come springtime when you start harvesting again. If you do can, or you do put up fruits and vegetables for overwinter, then you can get a little further on that hunger gap. The hunger gap is between the last time you harvest in the fall or winter and the first time you harvest in the spring. Part of asking how much and what should I grow is how big a space do I need to grow my garden? Just one or two pots, one bed, one 3x5 bed or 4x8 bed. Another part of what should I grow and how much should I grow is what is the climate you're growing in? If you're growing in the deep south in the U.S., you have one climate. If you're growing in northern Minnesota, or for me here in New England, my climate is different than many others. So, what is the goal? How far into the season do I want to keep growing / put up canning, dehydrate, freeze dried? How much space and the climate? Those are the big key questions. Let's take a look at them. All right, so what's the goal of my garden? I guess the overriding goal for me right now is to become as self-sufficient as I reasonably can. I can only grow so much. I only have so much time. I have a certain climate, and I have a certain amount of space. So my goal is to become as reasonably self-sufficient as I can with vegetables, to a lesser degree fruits. That is my goal. To that end, I'm going to concentrate on the I'm going to concentrate on the vegetables that I can reasonably grow in my area here in New England and put up enough to both get through fresh vegetables for all spring and summer and into fall, and also what can I grow, harvest, and then turn into something that I can use after my fresh harvests are done. For instance, tomatoes. I can grow enough tomatoes so that I have fresh tomatoes all summer, spring, summer, fall. And then I can also grow enough so that I can make pasta sauce, tomato sauce, salsas, and freeze those or can them and have them in the middle of, say, January and February when there is no fresh vegetables growing, but I will have fresh pasta sauce that I made that I canned. And I will have fresh salsa that I canned. So that is my goal, is to become as self-sufficient as reasonably possible. I want to cut down as much of my grocery bill in terms of vegetables and fruits. Let's see how I do. What is the hunger gap? As I alluded to before, the hunger gap is that period of time between my last fall harvest, which for me was in roughly November, and my first spring harvest, which, given what I grow, is usually somewhere in May, something like that. End of May, maybe early June if I'm running late. That is my outside garden. I grow now indoors all winter long, indoors on my grow light shelves, lettuces, herbs, spinach. I'm not growing arugula right now, but I have grown in the wintertime. And that helps me cut down the hunger gap. In addition to that, as I've mentioned earlier, I grow enough tomato that I make sauces. That cuts down on my period where I'm not harvesting fresh. I still have winter vegetables such as butternut squash. I still have potatoes that are in storage that I've harvested. The potatoes get me through till March, mid-March. I still got a few potatoes downstairs left. I've got salsas, I've got pickles, I've got pasta sauces. That is probably going to get me all the way through. My pasta sauces will probably get me through all the way until I harvest my new tomatoes. So, I also have I've made jars of jelly, jars of jam, and applesauce. So I have blueberry and raspberry jam and jelly, and I have beach plum jam and jelly, or beach plum jam that I have. That's all from fruit that I've picked. That stuff will get me through till the jams and jellies will get me through till my next season of when I start making new jams and jellies. The applesauce is going to run out. I know that. And the pickles will get me through till I start pickling cucumbers again. So I need to get more potatoes growing if I want to close that hunger gap. I need to have much more winter vegetables, my winter squashes, in order to close that hunger gap. But that is the hunger gap. So the next two questions are combined. The question of where am I growing? I'm growing in New England. My garden zones are zone 7A and 7B, which really only affects, the zone really is all about how deep and how cold the frost and freeze gets in the wintertime. 7A and 7B here in New England. And I am also growing in about 1,000 square feet. I have a space that's about 40 by, I'm going to call it about 100. That's 400. That's 4,000. Sorry. That's 4,000 square feet. And I have probably another 1,000 square feet between where the fruit trees are growing and also my 7B garden, which is on Cape Cod. What does that mean? Well, I got about 175 growing days between my average last frost, which is mid-April on the Cape and end of April outside of Boston, and then 175 to 185 growing days on the Cape, which means mid-October in the Boston area is my average first frost, and end of October is my average first frost on the Cape. So that's the climate I'm growing in and the hardiness zones, which means I can only count on about an average of 180 days of growing. All right, so what should I plant? I'm going to tackle this in a couple of different sections. What should I plant for vegetables? What should I plant for fruit? And first up, I want to take a look at what the I looked online, there's a million different recommendations, but what's the average recommendation for per person? How many plants per person should somebody grow? So, plants per person, I'm going to look at the vegetables first. Average 1 to 2 plants, 1 to 2 artichoke, 2 to 4 asparagus, beans 10 to 25 plants, beets 5 to 10 beets, 4 to 6 broccoli, 4 to 8 Brussels sprouts, 2 to 10 cabbage, 20 to 30 carrots. Corn you do not want to plant in one single row, so 10 by 8 foot in a square, couple of different rows next to each other. 4 to 10 cucumber, 1 to 3 celery, 3 to 5 eggplant, 25 to 50 garlic, 2 to 6 kale, 20 to 40 plants of lettuce, 30 to 50 onion, 20 to 30 peas, pepper 3 to 4, 1 to 2 varieties, potato 10 to 25, radish 10 to 20, spinach 10 to 25, summer squash 2 to 4, sweet potato 4 to 8, tomato 10 to 20, winter squash 2 to 4, and zucchini 1 to 3 zucchini plants per person. So what should I plant for fruit? They say an average of 2 trees of 2 different varieties of apple, 2 different varieties, 2 bushes of blueberry, 10 feet of grapevine, 2 to 3 trees of peach, 2 trees, 2 different varieties of plum, 10 by 3 feet of raspberry, 2 to 4 melon, 1 to 2 pumpkin, and 1 to 3 watermelon. For an average family of 4, 5 to 10 fruit trees gets you about 45 to 120 pounds of fruit. There's jams and jellies. Now I'm going to tackle herbs for me. I am growing all year inside and outside. Basil, planted every 4 weeks. Dill, a few plants of dill. Lavender, 1 to 2 new lavender every year. That's growing outside. Oregano I plant every 4 weeks. Parsley every 4 weeks. Thyme every 6 weeks. So, does that mean I'm growing everything on that list? Absolutely not. I grow more tomato than I wrote on that list, more pepper than I wrote on that list, more onions and more garlic. I grow 0 radish, but I'll probably add some this year. I adjust the list based on, and this is important for you, what do you like to eat? What does your family like to eat? Don't grow anything that you don't like to eat, or somebody in the family. Don't plant 1,000 tomato plants if you have 2 jobs and you only have 4 hours a week to grow. Time, climate, space are all important. But the most important is grow what you enjoy. Grow what you enjoy. So I make changes to my list based on what I and my family like to eat. Very important. Make changes to your list. That is what the average recommendation for a family of 4, number of plants per person is. I grow a little more fruit. Sorry, I take that back. I don't really grow a little more fruit. I happen to have a little more fruit growing because I can go over to my brother's house. He lives in a wooded area and I can pick blueberry there. So I don't grow any blueberry here personally. I live right near where a ton of beach plum grows. So I have the advantage of walking down the end of the street and picking my own fresh beach plums to make beach plum jam or beach plum liqueur. I grow a ton of raspberries. This year I'm actually adding some more. I'm going to add some more fruit trees. So, what's missing? I can't grow in this climate citrus. There are some hybrids or there are some dwarf plants that they might be able to survive, except they wouldn't have this year because we had some deep freezes and a ton of snow. So they would not have survived. So can you guess you can grow a Meyer lemon if you drag it in and out? I'm not set up for it. I also don't have meat. I'm not growing any chickens. I don't have fresh eggs. I'm not actually growing any corn because I don't have the square to make it. You can't grow corn in one single row. It's wind pollinated, so you need to grow a few rows side by side in a square rather than one long row. A 30-foot is not the same as 3 10-foot rows. That's not how corn works. I'm not growing any flour, any wheat. I'm not growing any old grains. I may, but not right now. So no meat, no chicken, no eggs, no beef, no pork, no eggs, no chicken. I can't grow any citrus. And me personally, I'm not growing watermelon or melons. I would love to. I just haven't been successful yet. And I don't have the time. I don't have the space. So maybe eventually I'll get there. I do have the advantage of being right on the ocean, so I have my own fresh fish, but I do not have meat yet. That's not to say I won't get there eventually. And dairy is a big problem for me. I don't have cows, goats. I can't make my own cheese, and that's a family weakness. We all love cheeses, many different kinds. I don't have any butter, and I don't have any milk. So I'll get there eventually. I'm not there yet. Number one thing to remember, grow what you love. Don't make it so much of a chore that you hate gardening. Truly try and enjoy yourself. Grow something that's interesting to you, that you enjoy eating, that your family loves, that you can make into something that you would be proud to serve to friends, family. But do your best and enjoy yourself. Gardening's supposed to be fun and stress-free. Said no gardener ever. Although we all do get out and enjoy the dirt. But yeah, please, if you made it this far, like, share, and subscribe. That helps me grow. That helps you grow. Thank you very much.